What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is EQ and thank you so much for stopping by. It is a very special day for me because I will be covering what's probably my most anticipated game for 2021. As some of you may already know from either watching me on Twitch or from talking to me in social media or even watching some of my previous videos, I play all sorts of games on stream, whether it be Apex Legends, The Cycle, Risk of Rain, all sorts of roguelikes, etc, etc. The whole point is that the one game that I am the most excited about and that I continue to talk about nonstop with all of my followers is Scavengers. Scavengers is a survival battleground, free-to-play action shooter that's going to be combining sandbox PvE and class-based PvP as you and your squad drop down in a gigantic map, battling all sorts of AI, roaming bosses, hostile environments with weather systems. You're going to be managing your survival systems such as hunger and warmth, crafting weapons, and facing off against other players who are trying to complete the same missions that you are, in hopes that you evacuate the planet at the end of the match with the most points and be declared the winning squad. Now, as of right now, we do not have any sort of release date for Scavengers. All we know is that aside from the previous playtests that we've had in the previous month, this month, in the month of March, we will be having something going on, some time to play with the game. Now, whether that be another open beta or closed beta, or whether it's actual early access release, we just don't know just yet. All we know is that the game will be released on PC on 2021. Now, for console players, unfortunately, the date is to be discussed. So there is no release for console just yet, but it will be making its way over to console at some point or another. In today's video, we're going to be going over the article that the team over at Midwinter Entertainment has put out regarding all the different characters that you can play while you're playing Scavengers, what their abilities are, what their signature weapon is, and after that, what different team compositions will work best with each other, based off of my experience with the game back in the alphas and the closed beta. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, please make sure that you go ahead and leave them over in the comment section. You guys can definitely go ahead and do that. Or if you guys want to just let me know what your favorite character is and who you think you're going to be playing as once the game comes out, leave that in the comments. We would all love to hear that and see what maybe your strategies will be once the game actually releases. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start going over the article. Just a little bit of background. I actually played in both the alphas last year in September and November, as well as played in the closed beta that happened in December as well. So I got a little bit of hands-on experience. Unfortunately, because the game was under an NDA, we cannot show any sort of footage from those sessions that we played during those alphas and betas, but I do have some footage for you to go along with the topic of today's video. First up, let's start with Tarik. Now, Tarik is your long-range specialist. His ability is the stun trap, as well as his weapon being the long striker. Now, during the betas, the long striker was ridiculous, extremely strong, very, very, very strong sniper. One of the very few snipers that you can actually find in the game. Tarik actually has it as a craftable weapon. A team with a Tarik is a very dangerous team because this gun will down your character really, really quick, especially if they are able to get a vantage point on you and are able to rain down sniper shots from above. It is extremely, extremely dangerous. So be very, very careful when facing a team with a Tarik. Now, as far as his ability, the stun trap, it is actually, once you place it, you can actually see it as an area of effect that will be marked, in the area around the trap itself. Once an enemy walks around this area, they will actually be slowed and dazed as well. So it's going to be extremely hard for them to see. So keep that in mind, that if you're trying to flank a Tarik, they most likely have traps all around you. Another thing that a lot of Tariks like to do is placing their traps on the final dropship that you're trying to enter to evacuate the map. So please be careful with those, because when your team is trying to push to evacuate, you might run into one of these traps and unfortunately be eliminated and lose all the data points that you actually gathered throughout the match. Keep that in mind. Next is Valora. Now, Valora is actually one of my personal favorites, just because I'm a very gung-ho, close range kind of guy. I'm a W key warrior, okay? Now, Valora's weapon is the Devastator, which is a pump action shotgun, and her talent is the Aegis Shield. Now, her shotgun will shred. If you are up close and personal with her, please beware. This shotgun can and will take you down in 2 shots, 2 to 3 shots, if they land all of the pellets on you. So please be careful with this shotgun. It is probably one of my favorite shotguns in the game, and I would highly recommend that you try out Valora because she is a ton of fun. Her ability, the Aegis Shield, will actually drop a dome around wherever she dropped the shield. Now, this dome you can actually shoot out of, but enemies cannot shoot into. The more damage that the dome receives, the smaller it'll get, up until you actually will hear an audio cue telling you that the shield is about to go down, and you have to reposition yourself so that way you're not caught on the line of fire. I like to think of Valora's shield kind of like Gibraltar's shield over on Apex Legends. The dome that it drops down provides perfect cover whenever you get ambushed, or if you're trying to just, you know, hold down a certain area. But it'll also work as a method of running away or providing you some cover as you're trying to run away from your enemies, breaking that line of sight with them as they cannot shoot through it. Now, do keep in mind that the enemies can actually walk into your shield. So again, be very, very careful. If Valora drops down this shield and she has her shotgun, she is extremely lethal. Next up is Halden. Now, Halden is your healer for the game. His talent is the Curative Aura, and his weapon is the Strike Rifle. Now, the Strike Rifle is a semi-automatic rifle that has mid to long range sights. Keep in mind that most weapons in the game cover anywhere from short range to mid range, but very few cover that mid to long range engagement. So having Halden in your team is very, very good for covering those areas where most of the weapons that you can find in the match will not. Now, his weapon is great and all, but where he actually shines is his ability. Now, his ability drops down a dome of healing that will gradually heal both himself and his teammates in in the area inside that dome. Now, what's even greater than that is the fact that if a teammate is down and he actually drops his dome on top of them, they will immediately get back up. So it is great if you are in a clutch situation where both your teammates are down, you're the only person alive and you're Halden. You run over to wherever your team is down, you drop down your bubble, and they will immediately come right back up and get back into the fray with a little bit of health, so that way they can help you out as well. So keep an eye out on Halden. Usually you want to be able to focus him first, so that way you avoid overextending fights that you could have probably finished off had they not had a Halden as a healer to bring back up downed enemies. Next up is Letty. Now, Letty's ability is EMP Blast, and her weapon is Rosie, which is a very, very, very strong wingman, again with the Apex references, wingman style pistol. It is extremely strong. It also covers that short to mid-range area where you're able to either aim down sights and hit them while they're in that mid-range engagement, or hip fire it and still be pretty accurate with it. So be careful with Rosie. Rosie is strong. Now, her ability, the best way I can describe it is with this.
In their tongue, he is Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
Letty's EMP is just absolutely amazing. Not only does it push one enemy or multiple enemies if they're right up in front of you, away from you, far away from you, it will also cancel their abilities, and they will take quite a bit of damage. So that way you and your team can actually reposition and take advantage of that damage that you have dealt in order to eliminate that enemy team. She's very, very good at canceling out those abilities to make sure that your teammates, you don't have to deal with any pesky stun traps, Valora shields, Halden reses, or anything like that. She will negate all of those for a period of time. Unfortunately, I don't have too much footage for her or what she can actually do or her signature weapon itself, but just make sure that once the game does come out, you give her a try and see if this is the playstyle that you want to go with. Next up is Jay, probably another one of my personal favorites. His talent or his ability is the overshield, and his weapon is the Maverick. Now, what do the overshield and the Maverick do? The Maverick is a lance or halberd type weapon that has longer range than most of the melee weapons that you can actually find in the game. On top of that, it does ridiculous amounts of damage. And on top of that, it can be coupled with his ability. His ability, the overshield, the shields that you craft have different tiers. They can go from a regular shield to a blue shield to a purple being the highest. Now the overshield lets you run up to an enemy, and on your way there, if your shields get cracked, once you activate overshield, it'll completely refill Jay's shields and give you an additional level, one level higher than what you had already crafted. So if you have a blue shield, it'll bump up your shield over to the purple level. This is great and all, but then if Jay gets up close and personal with you and kills you with his melee weapon while his overshield ability is active, he will get an additional layer of shields. On top of that, he gets even faster mobility and can go in for the kill one more time, making him extremely lethal up close. It's just a great character overall. Very fun to use, very fun to watch everybody just kind of run away from you in fear of getting smacked by the Maverick. But this is also where that chess, rock, paper, scissors kind of gameplay comes in, because there's characters such as Letty that can completely push Jay away. And not only do they push him away, deal damage to him, they will also cancel his overshield ability, therefore bringing him back to, back to earth, where you can go ahead and actually hit him and kill him. So please be very, very afraid of Jays. Nearing the end of the roster here, we got Callie, which is more of your recon character. Now her ability is the active camo, and her weapon is the Heartseeker, which is a bow. It's a very strong bow with that. Very, very good against enemy PvP players. Now her active ability, it's awesome. It will make you invisible. Now, the only downside to this is that it's partial invisibility. People can still kind of see your outline or like a shadowy figure kind of moving around. Just be careful with that. You can do better by blending in with your environment, whether it be bushes, trees, snow, etc. Callie can kind of get around their enemies and set up perfect flanks by doing this. Maybe I'm not giving her enough credit because I didn't really get to play too much with her during the alphas and the beta, but I'm sure that there's many players out there that are way better than I am that can work wonders with this character. So just please do keep that in mind, that if your ability does run out, you can activate it multiple times as long as you have charge for it. But once you run out of the ability gauge, then you're gonna be visible, and then if you take too much damage, you're also gonna be visible. Keep that in mind. But overall, not one of my top picks for characters, but again, somebody who with a higher IQ than that of a lowly potato aimer can come up with fantastic plays with Callie. Last but not least, we have Cruz. And let me tell you, Cruz is hands down my favorite character of the entire game. Fits my playstyle perfectly. I absolutely love him. Now, his ability is Tailwind, and his weapon, his signature weapon, is called Cazador. Now, Cazador is a high rate of fire SMG that just pumps out tons of damage. He will push up on you using his ability called Tailwind. Tailwind basically provides him and any teammates that are left in his little trail of data that he leaves behind him. It gives them a boost of speed as well as a slowdown in stamina consumption as long as they're in that jet stream. Cruz's playstyle is to get him and his team as close to you and your team as possible, as well as using the Tailwind to maybe run away from engagements or to run away from any roving storm that you may find around the map. Cruz can get him and his teammates out of those sticky situations a lot quicker. Now, What's great about him is that he can combine with other characters, such as with Jay, by using his ability, his tailwind ability, to boost him and Jay into a close range situation where they can absolutely ambush teams by pumping lead out with the SMG, the Cazador SMG, and then Jay just hitting them with that overshield and Maverick Halberd weapon. So just be very, very careful, as that is a dangerous competition to be facing against, but a very fun one to run yourself. So make sure that you and your teammates kind of try that out once in a while. So now, as for potential team compositions that will work with each other, we already went over one that I just mentioned. Jay and Cruz work perfectly together. Cruz will get Jay into that close range position where he wants to be with that Maverick, so he can shell out all that damage with his melee weapon and then pop that overshield, so that way once he actually downs an enemy, he gets even more shields, more mobility, and can just continue snowballing from there. Another really good composition to add into all of this, have a Tarik to cover the long range and somebody who might be trying to run away from Cruz and Jay. Have Tarik to provide that long range cover fire to help them out as well. Another thing that you can actually run in this comp, and probably the comp that I ran with my teammates, it was Cruz, Jay, and Halden. Halden was great for getting either Cruz or Jay out of those, sticky situations where maybe they pushed a little bit too hard and they got focused and downed. Halden will come in, rest them, and then Jay can just pop his ability one more time once it's off of cooldown to get that immediate shield restoration and just get back straight into the fight. Or have Cruz, use his ability to pull them out of that fight that they just lost, reposition, and get into a better position from there. Anyways, that is it for the entire roster of characters that will be available at launch for Scavengers. Now, I know that was a lot of information and a very long video, but I hope you guys learned something new. We just don't know when launch will be, but hopefully sometime soon. Maybe midwinter will tell us that it's this month. We'll see. Until then, I'll try to keep you guys as updated as possible on anything and everything scavenger related. Make sure that you join the Scavengers Discord as well, because that's where they post up any new announcements before anywhere else on their social media. You could also join my Discord or follow me on Twitter. Over on my Discord, we got a fantastic community of people who are excited for the game. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday from 8:30 p.m. onwards. So I hopefully will see a lot of you over there. If you enjoyed the video and learned something new, make sure that you like and subscribe. If you didn't, still like and subscribe. I appreciate it anyways. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other in some games. Have a good one. EQ signing out. I'll see y'all later.